He's marvelous in the role. So is Yul Vasquez. And so yes, I think I'm an expert, I guess, on drug crime shows, but I need help. I need help. It's a team effort.
We're gonna take you to something bonito now. Now, when you tell me that, I love that the actors were from the countries, and Guillermo, I'm sure you've noticed that for us Latinos is very frustrating when you said this is Mexican, they speak with a Cuban accent, or I'm gonna go there. This is Pablo Escobar, and he speaks with a little Portuguese thing. Is that a lesson learned? Because I mean, I thought it was brilliant. I was so happy, and it's important to us. So I wanted to ask
because I've been fighting all my life about that. That there are differences from culture to culture, accents, all the different origins.
Life a la Latina presenta Socialiciando. Sí, Socialiciando. Con Alicia Civita.
Sure, Alicia Civita, Socialiciando. How are you doing, guys?
Muy bien,
Very good.
Well, here, I mean, see, look, I'm at the Mutiny. This was this morning. That was the breakfast from one of the balconies. And nowadays. But I mean, of course, it's raining, pouring in Miami. So yeah, look, that's the day.
Okay, I for a second I really thought you were at the Mutiny.
No, that would have been cool. Just the weather is horrible. But I wanted to ask you, what about the story made it so compelling? I mean, to center it on the Mutiny, and cinematographically, although it's for television, it's been shot with a very distinct signature. How did you develop that conversation with the story from the director point of view?
Well, it was the need, first of all, of recreate a world and make it not only with this nostalgic view to the past, but an exacerbated version of it. So the use of the film language to tell the story and allow the camera to connect the dots and show and portray the spaces where the drama takes place. That is what makes it very cinematic, where the visuals are as important as the speaking parts. So you are moving forward in the story, and the imagery is propelling that story. So it's one cliffhanger after another. No, you're completely engaged with what's happening at every step of the way, because it's a very immersive process that way. We're not just registering what's happening, we're creating what's happening. That's the difference between just shooting and just registering something, then as opposed to recreate and build from scratch your world.
I feel, Chris, that by now you're an expert on Latin America, 70s, 80s.
Well, Guillermo would dispute that, but certainly
He thinks so. Yes.
Hablo un poquito de español. Hablo un poquito de español. No, first of all, I find it one of the reasons why I was so anxious to partner with Guillermo on this is because I must admit, my knowledge is limited to, the particulars of
the bad guys.
Yeah, the bad guys, and so I need to have someone who can really be representative of the Latin perspective and point of view. Just like on Godfather of Harlem, some of the writers are Black because I can't possibly put myself in that skin and be able to develop stories without that input. In addition to being one of the world's best directors, Guillermo serves as sort of a, hey, no, it wouldn't go this way. As do our actors, Danny Pino, Yul Vasquez, Tanya Watson. In other words, all the actors on the show are from the countries in the script that they're from in real life. And I think that also led to discussions about, for instance, Danny would come to me and say, well, no, I just wouldn't, do this as a Cuban, or I wouldn't say it this particular way. And I was, of course, always wide open to his suggestions on that count. He's marvelous in the role. So is Yul Vasquez. And so yes, I think I'm an expert, I guess, on drug crime shows, but I need help. I need help. It's a team effort.
We're gonna take you to something bonito now. Now, when you tell me that, I love that the actors were from the countries, and Guillermo, I'm sure you've noticed that for us Latinos is very frustrating when you said this is Mexican, they speak with a Cuban accent, or I'm gonna go there. This is Pablo Escobar, and he speaks with a little Portuguese thing. Is that a lesson learned? Because I mean, I thought it was brilliant. I was so happy, and it's important to us. So I wanted to ask
because
you,
I've been fighting all my life about that. That there are differences from culture to culture, accents, all the different origins. We've seen as a blanket that is all the same because we speak Spanish, you know?
or Portuguese.
Or Portuguese,
Yeah.
and the other
No,
one.
But although I will say Wagner Moore was very good in that role.
It was excellent. Excellent, excellent. Nobody else would notice except if you spoke Spanish. So
exactly.
But yeah, no, that I want to say it was that the lesson to learn the power of the multicultural Latino world in a way.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Well, Guillermo has been a very good teacher for me about that.
Now, my last question is, I have this segment, it's called Socializando, to socialize, right? What would you do in the mutiny had you been young at that time?
Me?
Both of you.
Both of us. I would have danced all day, all night long, etc. I would have experienced that fully.
I would have been, let's see, I would have been 14 years old. So I
would not be allowed.
I would not be allowed in.
Well, today, have you been this age?
Well, I'm beyond the years of using drugs and alcohol, but I would have been using a lot of drugs and alcohol, and perhaps dancing badly behind him, you know.
And go on meeting Michael Jackson and Liza Minnelli and John Lennon, right?
Rick James. I would be talking to some mutiny girls if I could, you know.
That's fantastic. Me too. I'll go with you.
That's right.
Thank you so much. I truly loved it. To be honest, I loved all your work, Chris, but I think this is the best you've ever done. And Guillermo, por favor.
Olé.
Realeza, de verdad.
Gracias.
Nos vemos cuando los postulen a los miles de premios. Hasta luego.